is now screen is being recorded. Okay, perfect. So let's go. Okay. So hi everyone, welcome to this session. And in this session, the key aim is we want to build a productivity system. Okay. So we can keep this Hindi and English. So if you feel like sirf English mein chahiye, so just let me know in the chat. If Hindi and English both is okay, then we can continue default mein. So what do you think? Primarily English or Hindi English both is fine. So Nidhi says English, then we have Poonam and Yash typing. Both is fine. Both are fine. Okay, so everyone anyways is from India, so hopefully shouldn't be a problem, but okay. Okay, so let's start the session directly. And the aim being, we want to build a productivity system. Okay, the productivity system part is very important. If you think everybody does New Year's resolution, we want to start exercising, we want to start meditating, we want to start doing something project, blah 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 blah, all of these things, they just tell you the planning part. Okay, all of these things, they just tell you the planning part, the scheduling part, but how to actually do it, how to actually get ourselves to do it is never addressed. So by end of the session, we will build a productivity system, and the aim of the system is to aid in execution. So the system will help us execute. That is the primary aim. Okay. So whatever big fat goal you might have, it should help in its execution. That is our aim. Not about planning, not about scheduling, not anything. It is all about execution. Okay. And we'll see all the softwares and everything which will help you do that execution. Okay. So if you go on YouTube or anywhere else, you will find there are many productivity systems done in many different apps. Okay. We have Notion, we have Rome Research, we have Things, we have Todoist, we have Tick. So there are too many systems which help you do the planning. So this weekly plan here, or this is the life dashboard here in Notion, or the general dashboard in Notion. Okay. They are not enough. Okay. We want a passive system. Okay. We want a passive system. The passive word here is extremely important. We want a passive system which works in background. Okay, we want a passive system which works in background automatically without we spending much efforts on it. Okay, so let me show you my passive system. The system which we will build by the end of 5 weeks. So this is my system currently. Everything is in Evernote. Everything is in Evernote. You will see these are the projects I'm currently doing these few projects in office. There is a new course I'm preparing for. There is a podcast for the training teams I'm doing. There is networking I want to do with few people. Some other projects which I'm doing on the side. Podcast which I'm working on, which will soon be on Spotify and Apple iTunes. These courses which I'm learning from. So this course by Ali Abdul on how to study machine learning ops specialization, this book by O'Reilly on ML. Oh, can't see my screen. Weird. Can you guys see my screen or not?
I can.
Okay, so I think Nidhi, you will need to rejoin because I think my screen is being shared. It shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so okay, so this is my system. In my office, these are the things which I'm currently doing. Just a second. So the classes which I'm teaching, so I work as an instructor at Google, and all the classes I'm teaching and everything, you'll find them here. And let's see. So the knowledge. So I'm a AI expert, machine learning expert, and this machine learning thing, which you can see, it's all here. So my knowledge related to data science, my knowledge related to cloud computing, my knowledge related to productivity, my job on how to be a better trainer, every single thing I have present here. Okay. So my interest areas here. So let's say I'm interested in a few things. So I'm ADHD. So ADHD means attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So despite having attention deficit disorder, I have been able to implement this system. I am learning on EdTech. I am getting my knowledge on evolution, Feynman technique, gaming, iterations, meditation, all of these things. This is the system. This is the productivity system. So if I want to create a, let's say, project, my manager recently asked me to create a training module for other instructors. All I need to do for that is look inside my internal knowledge base. So my knowledge is this. Currently, these many stuff I have kind of like written in public speaking or teaching. So 43 notes I have compiled over past 1.5 years. Past 1.5 years, everything passively. I do not spend any more than half an hour every day here. I'm not obsessively constantly being present here. It is completely automatic. Okay. So, like going back to the slides, which I was saying in the beginning, we are going to build a passive system which will not take you more than zero point 0.5 to 1 hour every day. Okay. And this system will help us execute. It will help us execute quickly. It will help us execute more. So our work will become easier. That is the aim. Our work will become easier. That is the key aim we are going to meet through this system. Okay. So let's see. Who am I and how did I, uh, get
You are
advantage
not
from this
audible.
system?
I can't hear anything.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear.
Okay, so who can't hear me? Let me just type on the chat. Can't hear. Okay, I think it's fine though. Those who can't hear, please rejoin. Okay. So going back to this thing, this is all about a system which is gonna help you build this knowledge base. Okay. So how is it going to be? So I'm currently a data engineering and machine learning instructor at Google. I've been here for more than 3.5 years now. And next 3 to 4 years, definitely I'm gonna be here doing the same training job. I deliver trainings to people in Google and Google's customer. And I'm in charge of the entire APAC region. I deliver trainings there. Okay. Here, while doing this job, I have given two TED feature TEDx talks. I have written more than 1,500 posts on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Quora. Okay. I am a subject matter expert, not just on my core area. Okay. I am subject matter expert on how to be a technical trainer. I am a subject matter expert, and in one of the talks I gave, a person from Magru Hill was there, and she kind of like invited me to write a book for them. So not pack publication, which is extremely easy to get into, but Magru Hill. Okay. I have enough material. I can write 3 books. I have enough material. I can actually be a public speaking coach, and I have enough material that I can teach productivity, which I do effectively. Okay. This is not to brag. This is not to brag. I just want to tell you this has been achieved with this system. Okay. So let's all together build this system. It is going to be a hands-on actionable class. It is going to be a hands-on actionable class. So we don't have to worry about this being a theoretical thing. So this is the aim. We will, depending on what you want to do. Do you want to do same in less time and efforts, so that you want to focus more on your personal things? You can use this system. Or you don't want to be workaholic. You want to put in same time and efforts, and you want to get more things done. or you want to achieve disproportionate result. There are few people. So a colleague of mine, his salary is around 1.5 crore. Okay. A person I know who teaches online, he earns around 12 crore per year, 12 crore per year through teaching. Whether it is CA, whether it is finance, whether it is simple note taking or anything else, there are people who earn insane amount of money. So, do you want to get those disproportionate result? This system will help. Okay, so let's start this system. The key thing we need to learn. Please, please, please. This is the first most important part. We need to start thinking in terms of projects. Okay. So many people here are doing jobs. Some people here are founders. One person here is founder. Hi, Sandeep. A person here is a teacher and he works in Microsoft. Tanay, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, and I.
Awesome. Cool. So, everyone who is doing jobs, we need to understand that compared to past, okay, compared to past, the project management field actually makes execution of complex projects possible. Okay. So please, currently in your job, every single thing you do, please think in terms of project. For example, you are doing coding. Okay. You are doing coding and you are working on a certain feature. Writing that code. Okay. So writing that code, testing that code, and committing that code and getting that code reviewed. Once the code has been reviewed, it needs to be merged. Okay, so these are all the things which are involved in releasing a feature in code base. So this entire thing is one big project. Okay, this is one big project. So if you are working on multiple features simultaneously, you are working on multiple projects simultaneously. Okay. So going back here, the project management principles will help you make sense of what all you are doing. Okay. So let's ask Tanay here. So Tanay, being in your development job, how many features or bug fixing or something, how many things are you working, let's say in a month, or let's say on an average day? How many things are you working on?
Generally, we do one or two features in one sprint, but sprint being 10 day, 10 working days, and 2 weeks, and few
Oh,
bugs.
nice. Thanks. So we have few features Tanay is working in a day and a few bugs. Okay, so 3 to 4 projects. Anyone else wanna contribute? Let's keep it this interactive. If just tell me how many projects do you think you work in a day on an average? Total number of projects you work in a day. You can either reply in chat or you can unmute yourself and speak there. How many projects do you think you work in a day? Think in terms of projects. So Shivam works on 4 projects. Sandeep here is a founder, extremely big, successful company in security domain. So Sandeep being a founder, he has to juggle on extremely large number of projects. So 50. Anyone who is a developer, around 3 to 5 is an average number. Okay. I myself work on 5 to 6 projects every day, no matter what. Okay. If you become a manager, you need to manage the projects of all your employees. So then the projects you are working on are even more and stuff like this. Okay. So project is this one entire big term. Think in terms of project. So fixing a bug is one project. Writing a test case is one project. Conducting an interview, creating a GitHub portfolio, recording a podcast, blog, website, all of these things, they are separate projects. Okay. Don't think in terms of job. I want to just do this. I'm going to go code and done. No. Separate your work. How many features are you working on? This will help you think about your total workload and optimize it. Okay. So first thing is think in terms of projects. Okay. think in terms of project. Most important thing you need to actually do. Then next thing, this is a thing from 7 habits of highly effective people. So this is third habit from the book. 7 habits of highly effective people. Think win-win. This is a really interesting habit. So on x-axis, think in terms of benefit to the company. On y-axis, you have benefit to you. Okay. X-axis is benefit to company, y-axis is benefit to you. Here, those who kind of like do lose-lose, they are bad employees. They don't help themselves, okay, and they don't help company. They will get, they will either get hired, or if they do get hired accidentally, they will get fired. Okay. Then we have people who are doing win-lose. So people who are not doing work of the company, but they are just doing their own personal stuff. So let's say you are using company laptop, company resources, blah, blah, blah. You're not helping the company, you're only helping yourself. These also get fired. Okay. So whether you are doing lose or lose, you will get fired. Then there is another type of people who are doing lose to personal and win to company. You see, your manager's job is to ensure that he gets win for the company. Okay, so every single person who is working here, your job is to add value to the company, and manager is ensuring that. But we do not want to have lose to ourselves. Think win-win means think selfish too. Okay. So think selfish. But this is the key important for it. Think selfish as well. Don't just think about the company. Think win-win. Whatever work you are doing for the company, in the same work, try to extract value for yourself. How do you do that? This is why we call as reuse. Think win-win. Whatever work you are doing, try to see how you can use that for your own advantage. Either improve your brand, or improve your knowledge, or improve your skill, or improve your network, or whatever you are doing, keep how is it benefiting you, and reuse that thing for your own gain as well. Reuse is essential. So example for that is this: all the projects I'm doing. So I need to study for AI because that's my job. So whenever I'm doing that, I'm also making notes. I'm making notes of whatever I'm doing so that I can write a book about it. So currently I was just, reading upon stuff for AI for business. So while teaching these courses, I'm also taking notes for myself so that I can kind of like utilize it for my own purpose. So recycling is important. So work for the company, but find out what is your own benefit. Okay, that's think win. So project. These are the examples of projects. And if you focus on the stuff in green now, these are the things which, if you do, will develop your reputation in the company. So what is compiled knowledge base for the company? So all the links you need to remember in your work. So currently, it's all in bookmarks. Okay. So this is my Chrome browser. In the Chrome browser, this is the list of all the things which are generally needed, in the training. So things on Torch, things on Kaggle database, things on data visualization, whatever it may be. Put them in one place in a document so that all other employees can actually use it. Put in effort to once create a single file so that everyone can use it, and it builds your reputation. Put your name on it. Don't put it as a company best practice. Say compiled by your name XYZ. So anytime anyone opens that document, you will actually see that it is you who has done the work. Or let's say manager has asked you to create, decide for something, and you are reviewing all the stuff for it. It could be coding job, it could be a company you are running, or it could be some business. Even if you are a shopkeeper and you are asked to find out, okay, find me a place with best XYZ things. You can create a survey. You can say, if I want to rent XYZ thing, this area is better. If I want to do it for certain IT company, this area is better. That area is worse. Blah, 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 blah. So you see, white paper, whatever work you anyways do, convert that into a document and share it inside the company. Your manager will appreciate it. Your name will become, more well known, and you will get more opportunities in future. So creating standard operating processes, onboarding guide, or creating this thing. These are examples of whatever stuff you already know. Convert that into something to improve your brand inside the company. That's one. Other thing is be creative. Do jhol. Okay. So jhol example is like this. Okay. Currently, I have done the jhol. Currently, talking to other trainers, recording a podcast, asking them to tell the best tips and tricks of being a great trainer. That develops my network. The podcast helps the company. Network helps me. This is win-win. Okay. I am doing this for the company, but the network is going to help me. I am also going to create company newsletter in which all the best news articles. So all the news articles I will come across, I'm going to share that with all other trainers. It is going to help other trainers build relationships with them, help company and also myself, or creating best practice guide by interviewing people. So you see, be creative, think win-win, try to find out khud ka fayda as well. Okay. And once you think in terms of that, that is when you will start earning more. That is when you will start getting promoted more. You see, everybody puts in the same effort. I know people who are earning 3 lakhs per year to 3 crores per year as a job, not 3 crore actually, one and a half, around 2 crore in India. But it's same efforts. The difference is the kind of work they do, the value they add, people they know, all of these things. So it is the output that counts, and measure entire output in terms of projects. And now we will learn how to kind of like do this uh, project management. That's what we will learn now. So half an hour is done. Any questions until now? Please put them in chat. So the key thing we have said is think in terms of project, be creative, try to, try to create projects in such a way that it helps company and you. Keep yourself in mind. Same for these things. Whenever you're doing project, whatever stuff you already know, try to reuse that. Let's say you are a founder of a company and you are doing something. Okay. Try to write a blog about it. So it will help me make name of your company. So whatever you are anyways doing, try to kind of like reuse it. Try to use it for your a different gain as well. And for that, think in terms of project. That's the key one part of this thing. Uh, okay, so there is a question by Bhavna. Bhavna's question is, what is difference in thinking in terms of a job and thinking in terms of a project? Great question. Okay, so let's say someone's job is of a let's say someone's job is of okay. Can who is not on mute? Yash, I think. Yash, can you mute yourself? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so let's say someone's job, your job is developer. So screen, blank screen here. Okay, so you could be a developer, you could be a professor, you could be a founder, or whatever. Okay, this is your job. Now, when you think in terms of project, so developers, when he thinks in terms of projects, it's like coding function, coding a certain feature. or a professor who thinks in terms of, okay, teaching a class, XYZ class, or organizing a workshop, okay, or a founder who thinks in terms of, let's say, I want to finish these 5 new projects which I have taken initiative on. Okay, so you see, when you think in terms of job, once the job is done, it's done. You can't extract any more value out of it. But when you are thinking in terms of projects, so I am still doing the same job when I'm taking notes. Okay, I am still doing the same job when I'm taking notes. But when I think in terms of project, when my job gets done, okay, whenever my project gets done, I will move it to done. Okay, and whatever stuff I have used for it. So right now, the workshop which I'm conducting, it's an active project here. When I'm done, I will move that to archive. Now, if I need to run this same workshop again, which I will charge again, all I need to do is, refer to this, and I will be able to do this without any preparation. Okay. So when we think in terms of projects, we can reuse the information, reuse the knowledge, and we can reduce our efforts and time required. That is why think in terms of projects. If you think in terms of job, when your job is done, your value addition is done. You have nothing remaining with you. But if you think in terms of project, even if you change your college, even if you change your company, your value will be retained with you. So does that make sense, Bhavna? Awesome. Cool. So Sandeep's question is, what is the ultimate goal of managing information? Now that's another incredible question. Okay. So we are all living in the world of information. Okay. So if I just show you a list of the blogs which I browse every day. Okay. So this is some of the examples. So simply on machine learning, I have more than 4 or 5 thousand links. Okay. Now, managing this information, why is it essential? It is essential so that I want to take this information and use it in my day-to-day life. It's like eating. If we eat something and don't digest it, it's not useful at all. So, similarly, if I don't manage the information, I am not using the information. How many books have you read? If you just think back, think about all the books you have read, all the TV shows you have watched, all the animes you have watched. Do you remember the lessons from those? Answer is probably no. But here, if you check, I don't do that. So currently, you see, I make a list. If I read an article and I love that article, I will make a highlight of that and I will write notes on it. So you see, this is an article written by Yuval Harari on what kids need to learn for to succeed in 2050. So I not only read it, I made its own highlights on it, and I keep reading this thing. So if I'm getting bored, I will just go and read something, whatever is my mood. So I read this book on 33 strategies of war. These are the highlights I took. Or there is a book on Harry Potter. So there is this Harry Potter book called as Methods of Rationality. It is my favorite book. Actually, that book turned out to be my personal role model. So if you check here, I have a notebook of inspirational role models here. So if you need to go to YouTube for motivation, that motivation is not going to last. But if you make the list of stuff which motivates you, okay, so there is this anime called as Baby Steps on Netflix. These are the stuff from that anime which motivates me. I love watching that. It tells me the importance of hard work and what kind of results one can have if you just work hard. So I took screenshots of it and I saved it here. And at least once a month, I go through this notebook. What does it allow me to do? It allows me to retain. So total number of information I have in my brain is 15 to 20 times more than anyone else in my company. Even with people with multiple PhD, I know more than them. Why? Because I manage my information. I don't save it in my brain, I save it externally. But managing is not just enough. We need to use that information. And how do we do that is the rest of the training. Okay. So I hope that answered your question, Sandeep. Anybody else? Any questions, please? Please ask. Okay, perfect. So what we are going to do is we are actually going to all decide one project. Everybody, please decide one project which is extra, which you are going to do. The project which will help you, okay, and the company, but the company is side effect. Project should help you. It should help you become more visible so that you can get a better job, or it should help you gain more knowledge so that you can get that promotion, or it should help you build more networks so that you can leverage that in future. It should be immediately impactful. Okay, so we are going to all have decide one capstone project. Okay, and we are going to use that in the next 5 weeks to make it up. So whatever you decide at the end of 5 weeks, let's all try to make some progress on it. And as a side effect, we will actually build this system. So the project shouldn't be like meditation or exercise, because it takes 6 to 8 months to get a complete habit and see the results. We want short projects, projects which can actually help you. So for example, on the right hand side, this is the list. So releasing a feature in code base, but this is not the right project because it doesn't help you. Okay. But creating a GitHub portfolio helps you. Recording a podcast helps you. Writing a blog helps you. Creating a website helps you. Creating a company newsletter helps you. Doing these, all of these things, they help you. So these things are not the right capstone projects. These things are also not the right capstone projects. Think in terms of win-win. Okay. And here it is extremely important, because once we learn this system, it will help us actually start a journey which is an incredible journey. Okay. Let's just think in terms of this thing. So this podcast is one thing, podcasting. So let me just tell you one really interesting thing here. Okay, let me just tell you one really interesting link. So let me just open that. I just found that link some time back. So just a second. Okay, so this is the link. It tells a person who sells few tweets on Twitter. This person earns more than my cousin, who is a senior director in a very big company. Okay, who is a senior director in Workday company, and this is the summary of the tweet. Okay, it says around 90% of the podcast don't get beyond episode 3. The same logic applies for blogs. Same logic applies for anything else. Okay. 90% of people do not get beyond this. Then around rest of the people, 90% of them quit after 20 episodes. So to be top 1% in the world, you just need to go beyond 21 episodes. Okay. You just need to go beyond 21 episode. Now, going back to this, you are one capstone project. Okay. This one is really important. This one is your starting point. Okay. Then eventually we want to build a project factory. Okay. This project factory is a really important word. We want to build a project factory which is consistently going to produce the projects. So let's say your project factory is very slow. Okay, let's say you are very busy or you don't have enough time, whatever it may be. So let's say you decide you want to write a blog, but your project factory takes 3 months to write a blog, one blog. Doesn't matter. At the end of the year, you will have four blocks. At end of 2 years, you'll have eight blocks. Okay. And when you have eight blocks, you are already, in world's top 5%. Okay. And the advantage of this factory is amazing. You see, more you continue doing the execution, more you will speed up. Okay. I know a person who is extremely popular blogger. So two people I had in touch with, Scott Young and other is Tiago Forte. Both of them are incredibly reputed in the world. Okay. They said in the beginning, it used to take them 4 to 5 months to even write one block. Now it takes them a week. So project factory, when you continue executing your project factory, you will speed up. So whatever one new capstone project you will do, it needs to be win-win. Okay. It needs to be win-win. It should impact you personally, and eventually you will be able to produce it at much consistent frequency. So everybody, please take few minutes and decide on your capstone project. Whether it could be blog, it could be podcast, it could be YouTube video, whatever it may be. One project. Please think of that. Let's take 5 minutes for it. And once you are done, please type your capstone project in the chat so that we will all ensure that that thing gets done. Let's get into the world's top 1% together. Okay. All it needs is consistency. So let's get into the world's top together. All it needs is consistency. For that, let's decide on one capstone project. This is the class assignment. So take 5 minutes and write your capstone project in the chat. So Bhavna's capstone project is writing a research paper. What topic? Be specific. It's not a vague thing. Writing a research paper on what? So your project could be anything. Your project just needs to be win-win. It should help you. Okay. It could be anything. It could be just personal. It could be okay. So Sandeep's thing is running a marathon. Okay, that marathon thing is not really a project, because project I mean here in terms of need to be doing research. So for example, project could be that I want to learn how to meditate. Okay, so for example, if I go into my interest areas, there is this meditation project which I've done. So it's about how to meditate. So maybe Sandeep, for you trying to find out what exercise you can do consistently, that could be a project. But simply running a 5 km marathon, that's not a project. It doesn't need you to research. It doesn't need you to find what is the best thing. You simply need to follow that couch to 5K thing and it will be done. We need something which needs experimentation and something that is the ideal definition of project, which you can then continuously use in future. Okay, so Bhavna's thing is related to supply chain. So to be specific, on building a resilient organization. Okay, so definitely we can have all the research material on this thing on building resilient organization. That's a great keystone project. Okay. So, oh, perfect. Building a resilient supply chain, post-pandemic adoption of perfect. If not paper, we could do a blog post or series of tweets or something. Great, that works. Abhishek's keystone project is research paper on firefighting techniques and develop habit of reading books. So developing habit of reading books, it's not really a project. Okay, so that can't act as a keystone project. So research paper on firefighting techniques though. Now that can be a good project. So global warming leading to lots of forest fires, its impact on USA, and what are the other places where such thing is happening. Because fires in forest are actually not just in USA, they are present everywhere. So, what are the ways? Maybe going to fire station and asking them how do they fight fires in city, and what are the inspirations you can take to fight fires in, let's say, forest or something. So that's a great topic. Okay, so Abhishek, that works as a keystone project. Now, Divanshi creating a GitHub portfolio. So this thing works if you also have the project in mind. So, what are the projects you want to showcase on your GitHub? Without that, this cannot be a key capstone project. So, try to be more specific. Try to define what is the projects you want to showcase on GitHub. Do you have those code ready? Then you just need to kind of like, convert them in such a way that they are readable. So Poonam and Divanshi, just GitHub portfolio is not precise enough. It needs to be include the list of projects as well. Okay. So try to, think about that and type that into the chat. So supply chain management, this thing we have Nidhi, who Nidhi wants to create a YouTube video podcast. So topics is tech, crypto, business. Perfect. So that's a great capstone project. So end of the session, if not on YouTube, definitely you will have one video on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is way easier than YouTube, and then we can sort of refine that further. So Raghu, you haven't pasted your keystone project. Tanay, if you can write, maybe you can also mention what keystone project you want to do. Then who else has not written? So Abhishek has written, Bhavan has written, Divanshi has written, Poonam has written, Purva's keystone project saw and I missed. Language module workshop. Perfect. So creating a workshop, that's a perfect. So Purva, that is a good keystone project. We will at least have one partial this thing which you can run version number one of the keystone thing. Tanaz, uh, okay, perfect. So doing research on how to be a better writer. Perfect. How to be a better writer, and while doing that, publishing 10 mini blogs in next 5 weeks. That is the ideal kind of capstone project we have. Okay, perfect. So we have Tanay's Yash's thing is on research paper on cloud-based distributed system, differences and comparison. Perfect. Now, Yash, this is too broad. Okay. You can't just say cloud-based distributed system, but not talk about which system. Is it database? Is it data processing system? Is it compute system? Whatever. You have to be precise because that's precise thing you can research into this thing. Okay. So please be precise and then you can do this. Sandeep says building mental growth process for 6 month baby. Now, Sandeep, I love this project. So we have two people here who have had kids. Now creating a education thing for a 6 month old baby. There can be no better project than this. You can make videos of it. You can record videos of your baby's progress for yourself or for rest of the world. You can write about this thing. So there is, if you go into psychology, there is this thing called as learning in kids. So around 4 months, when babies are on 4 months, that's when they learn that. So I don't know if you have learned peekaboo. What is that peekaboo game? It's like you close, you put your hands here, and then you hide your face, and when you remove your hands, baby starts laughing. That's peekaboo, right? You have this and you do, oh, baby laughs. You see, kids do not know that after hiding something, it doesn't go away. Kids think after you hide something, it has disappeared. So peekaboo, when something comes, they think that it is magic. Around 4 months, that's when babies understand that after hiding something, it doesn't go away. So how can you teach that to baby sooner? That's a great thing. Building the mental growth process for the baby. Reading books, finding out what are the development benchmarks for baby and how to develop them for the great keystone project. Okay. Then we have Raghunandan, fundamental analysis for long-term investment in start market. So fundamental analysis for this thing makes sense. I am actually not knowledgeable much in this thing, so I won't be able to comment on this. But yes, works well, good project. So we have had keystone projects. Now let's kind of like let me show you my keystone project and how we you all can do the same thing as well. Okay. So my keystone project was build a podcast. Okay. So I decided to build a podcast on how to be a technical trainer. Okay. So my project was try to think of all the things I could teach in it. So I sat one day for entire day and I was making list of all the things I could do in technique being a better speaker or a trainer. So you see, I made list of many things. So I just sat for one single day. One single day, I made a list of all of these things. So total, I have around 40 to 50 podcasts that I could do. So just in a day, I decided on, you know what? I have all of these things. Now my project is recording one podcast episode. So you see, I am going to be recording one podcast episode in 2 weeks. Then next 2 weeks, next episode. Next 2 weeks, next episode. Next 2 weeks, next episode. You see, this is Project Factory. So right now, all your projects which you have done, you whatever you learn in building that, you can either apply that to do more of the same, or you can build and make it more detailed, more detailed, more detailed. So this capstone project is a great start. Okay, so that's great. So let's go next. Okay, let's think about this thing. Heavy lift versus slow burn. Okay, key important thing here is I do not want to spend 100% of my time on doing this. Okay, so a productivity system which is taking 100% of your time is a bad system. So that is why, so heavy lift is what is when you are putting all your efforts into doing something. So imagine you spending all your time on your keystone slash capstone projects. Your rest of the job will suffer. We want to do slow burn. We do not want to spend more than 40 minutes a day. Okay, we do not want to spend more than 40 minutes a day on whatever your keystone project is. But in same that 40 minutes a day multiplied by what? 7 days is 280 minutes, is approximately 5 hours. So at the end of 5 hours, I want to make a progress on this. This is what is slow burn. So when you are cooking, whether it is a soup or a stew or something non-veg, whenever you're doing slow burn, you have extremely low intensity of the flame, but it is running for a really long time. It cooks better. So your keystone project, we are going to slowly spend only less than 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes a day. But at end of 5 weeks, total 5 weeks, we would have done insane amount of work, which we can directly show the world. Okay, as you can see here, 5 hours per week multiplied by 5 weeks, so 25 hours you have gotten by simply spending 40 minutes a day. And these 40 minutes do not need to be consecutive. Okay, so 40 minutes per day, 40 minutes are not consecutive. Okay, my spelling is wrong. It could be 10 minutes in the morning, then 10 minutes in the evening before a meeting was postponed. Then it could be 20 minutes before you go to sleep, or it could be 5 minutes while you are waiting for a cab or something, 5 minutes while you are in bathroom or something, some stuff like this. Okay, we are going to do this slow burn, and we do not need dedicated continuous time consecutive. It need not be consecutive. Anytime you want, you can actually do this. Okay, how do we still make progress? So the solution is, after your keystone project, you need to divide your project into smallest of components. Okay. So let me tell you my example. Let me tell you my example, which is podcast. Okay. So in the podcast thing, I actually kind of like created, you know what? I need to create introduction podcast, right? So my this thing was actually divided into these parts. So let me show you. Where is this daily productivity? Let me just show you for the podcast thing. How did I do it? Or even workshop. This is how it was. If you just check on the right hand side. Okay, the one, this entire workshop which I'm teaching now, I kind of like divide into these things: create outline of key points, then creating units outline, slides for individual unit, then for unit number one, general outline for that unit, draft slides, polishing the slides with images and animation, creating assignment for that unit. This is my sub component of this. Creating WhatsApp group for the students, creating WhatsApps and Instagram status for more students, finding video call hosting platform, which I decided on Skype instead of Zoom, Meet, and Teams and blah blah blah. Deciding on Skype, scheduling the video call. You see, these are all the sub components of this workshop. Okay, if you want, I could show you similar thing of podcast. So on podcast, this is how the podcast thing was. I was like, you know what? I want to do the podcast. Creating outline was subcomponent. Refining outline, I did it next day. Final recording outline. So the same outline, I kind of like, I'm going to finalize, and then I'm going to start recording. Then recording, I will say take one, take two. I will kind of like do this. This is going to be my further division. Then finding the podcast service to upload on. Okay. Also finding software to record the audio. This is also something I need to find out. Okay. I have already found that out. I'm going to use OBS for this. But this is something I forgot to do. So you see, whatever your keystone project is, divide that into smallest of subcomponents. For newsletter, I did this. I have shortlisted on the hosting services answer is review. And then I need to shortlist which website I want to follow, blah, blah, blah. So whatever your keystone project is, for that keystone project, divide it into smallest of subcomponents and write that on the chat. And please save that in text file on your PC. Okay. Your keystone project, your division of the keystone project, please save that into text file on your laptop. And which software are we going to use for the further things, I'll tell you afterwards. Okay. So another assignment is, your keystone project needs to be divided into smallest of subcomponents. Okay. Is that clear? Any questions until now? I've shown you examples of this. The call is being recorded. You can revisit the call and you can see the demo of the subcomponent I showed. And whatever your keystone project is, divide that. And these smallest sub projects, as many as they are there. Okay. You see, creating outline is the smallest subcomponent. Okay. Maybe creating engaging introduction could also be a sub project. You see, because for introduction, you always need a hook. So I did not think of this. So I can say, you know what, I wanna, create introduction. So how could I do the introduction? That could be the smallest of project. So it does not matter how many smallest number of projects you have. It should be atomic. I mean, creating outline, you can't say create one third of the outline. So you see, it can't be cut any more than this. Creating an introduction, this, it can't go any less than this. You can't just say create one line of introduction. No, you see, divide your component into smallest of these things. So for my workshop, you see, these were my components, creating outline. So maybe I could show you. For my workshop, these were the things. So I have created the outline of all my units, but I have not created slides for all my units. I will show you here. So the workshop which is currently happening, this is its outline. Unit 1, this is what I wanted to cover. Unit 2, this is what I want to cover. Unit 3, this is what I want to cover. Unit 4, Unit 5. So I have the outline, but I don't have the slides. I will create the slides next, when this thing is done. Why? Because you can't do everything immediately, right? So your keystone thing, divide into smallest of subcomponent, save it on your a text file system, and by end of this 5 weeks, we will ensure that your keystone project is completed. Okay, so this is the assignment. This is the assignment. So we don't have actually time to go through this code methodology for how to do the projects. So capture, organize, distill, and express. I will introduce this in the next session. For now, we can conclude by talking about this software called as Evernote. Okay, so the thing which I was showing you since we began this training is this software called as Evernote. So the reason Evernote is important is actually internet is a infinite black hole which sucks you in. Okay, so imagine take any of your podcast. So Sandeep, mental growth process for 6-month-old baby. So for that, what is the setting up of your sub projects? So let me do a live demo. So let me create a note. Okay, who wants me to do the live divide and conquer of their project? Can you just list your keystone project here? I will kind of like, because I don't have a baby, I don't think. So Nidhi, your podcasting and my podcasting is very same. So just go back to the video recording and please see that it will help you. So Sandeep was first. So let me do this thing, which is the baby. So growth plan for 6-month-old baby. So let me just think now. Okay, I'm thinking in front of you. First thing, there is a introduction to psychology book which has chapter on child development. Okay, so there is another thing. Check child development milestones. So if you search on Google for child development milestone, you will actually find out what are the kind of like milestones in this thing. So learning to identify shapes, learning to identify face, learning to identify something. So you see, generally, all babies statistically they will have certain milestone, kind of like muscle development, something like this. And according to the age, you kind of like need to find that out. Okay, you can also do the personality identification. You see, cognitive things, what are the explore things, blah, 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 blah. So you see here, this thing, check child development milestones. Okay, check personality types for kids. Okay, check possible intellectual simulation, let's say plans. Okay, list, let's say areas of growth. You see, it could be intelligence you want to grow, or it could be curiosity you want to grow. So, how can you grow curiosity? Giving different inputs to the baby, color, smell, stuff like this. So, you could grow intelligence, curiosity, or muscle strength. Okay, because after 6 to 8 months, baby will start crawling, and the muscles will not be strong enough to do that. So how could you do muscle strength growth? Okay, maybe just some kind of like exercise you could be doing, or it could be family bond, or it could be, let's say, interest in something. It could be reading or listening to stories in your voice, not audible, but your voice. It does family bonding and as well. So you see, just sitting for 5 minutes, this thing has been done. Okay, and then you see what was the assignment? It was about divide and conquer. Now install Evernote software. Okay, everybody install Evernote software on this machine, or you can connect to this from your website as well. So we need to install Evernote software. This is what we'll use. And then what is going to happen is you will create a notebook. Okay, a notebook growth plan for 6 month old baby. Whatever your keystone project is, you will create a notebook for it. And in that notebook, please move this divide and conquer thing. So, Bhavna, writing a research paper on this thing, similarly, you need to create a notebook for it. In that, you will create this thing, and this is what divide into sub projects. So, Purva, you want to do your workshop, you create a notebook. Okay. So Evernote is the software, and this software has something called as stack. Okay. In Evernote, you have something called as stack, in which you put in multiple notebooks. So Evernote is like we have something called as a stack. So I have active projects as a stack, passive as a stack. I have just gave a name to it. So learning is, all the things I'm learning, my knowledge. So these are the stacks. In the stack, there is notebook. Okay. So when you will start, you will have none of these things. So don't worry about this. When you will start, just create a notebook. Okay. When you will start with just a notebook. Your notebook is going to be present here. And in that note, there is going to be this note. Okay. Similarly, let me create a new notebook for, let's say, Bhavna's thing. So research paper on resilient supply chain. So this is Bhavna's project. So Bhavna, in your Evernote, you will have a notebook like this. Whatever it is, in this, you will create a note. The first note in this is going to be divided into sub projects. So research paper. So let me just make checklist of Bhavna's things. Resilient supply and chain. Okay. So example of non-resilient supply chain because of COVID impact. So this could be a good thing. Simply thinking about what is the example of non-resilient supply chain. I know it as a fact, electronics. has been impacted. I know vaccines have been impacted. I know, let's say, vegetables have been impacted. So make list of, okay. So you could kind of like do this thing and also say find list of other things impacted by COVID. This is one subcomponent. What else? Then, improving supply chain for interruptions. Then you can say, is COVID here to stay? So, how to change supply chain accordingly. So, you see, when we divide stuff into sub components, we are making list of things we can check off one by one. So in case of Sandeep, who wants to make a growth plan for 6 month baby, you will start with, you know what? I want to learn child development from introduction to psychology. So for that, what will you need to do? Buy Amazon book on intro to psychology and read chapter on child development. That's it. Okay, so you will decide, what, whenever you have 5-10 minutes, you will say, what, I will buy this thing, and this thing is done. Read chapter, just that chapter on child development. To read any chapter, it does not take more than 20 minutes. Read that chapter, highlight the stuff which is relevant and helpful. Okay, and then this thing will be done. Then you can check. So, for that purpose, you need to do Google and find all the milestones. So this thing will probably take you no more than 30 minutes. Check personality types. This thing will not take you more than 20 minutes. Okay. Stuff like this. So you see, just sit once, create a notebook for your keystone project and divide, think, spend around half an hour or 1 hour on your this thing. Divide your keystone project into sub components, and then we will start working on it one by one. So you see, this project development unit one is setting up Evernote. Okay. And there is also something is install extension called as Digo. Okay. We are finishing last 2-3 minutes. Then your questions I will take. Okay. So install this extension called as Digo. Let me just copy this thing and paste it here in the chat. But install the Chrome extension or Firefox extension or whatever called as Digo. So what happens is, whatever you are reading, whatever you think is useful and relevant. So I was just reading this on online education. So this blog I just saw on Twitter, and I thought this is an amazing blog. So I was like, I just highlighted important stuff. Okay, you see stuff like this. If I scroll down, these are the stuff I highlighted. So you see, David Perel earned around seven-figure dollars revenue. Joe Hudson earned $200,000 in his first cohort. Ali Abdul earned $1 million in 9 months. Then few months, around $100,000 few people earned. And then Tiago Forte earned $5 million in this just 3,000 students. So you see, next time I don't need to read the blog. All the stuff, whatever stuff I have come across in my internet browser, we all are constantly reading. But when you highlight the stuff, simply install Digo extension and select whatever part you like, click on highlight, and then Digo will save it in your this thing. And just to show you, I have learned a lot from even novels. Okay. You see, there is this wuxia novel. I don't think anyone here reads Chinese wuxia novels, but this is a Chinese wuxia novel called as Divine Throne of Primordial Blood. Okay. While reading this novel, I found out this novel has taught me how to do research. So Bhavna and someone else who wanted to do research paper on forest fires. I learned how to do research from this novel, which I was just reading for time pass. Okay, while reading this, I was like, oh, this is very interesting. While reading that on my laptop, I simply selected the part which I thought was useful, and I simply clicked on highlight, and that is, permanently in my library. Now, this thing is actually redirecting to something else. So there is a problem here, but just an example. So even a novel, or even if you're watching a movie, so whenever I'm watching a movie, I'm watching it from, I can take screenshot. So yesterday I was reading this, watching this video game thing on video game, how to do skill development in video game. Okay, so while watching that, I simply took screenshot of whatever was happening and I uploaded that here. Okay, so screenshot of that video, who gets to be awesome in games, screenshot of few things, and I saved it here. So next time onwards, I have all the best stuff with me to use, and which then I can utilize to develop into my project. Okay. So we are, this is, install Evernote. This is your action note, your keystone project, whatever keystone project you have, make a notebook for that keystone project. And then for that specific keystone project, please create a note in that which is dividing into sub projects, and divide that into smallest of sub components you can think of. This is the assignment. Okay. So this is the content for today. If you have any questions, please ask them now. Otherwise, content is done. Any questions? We are done with this. Recording is still going on. If you have any questions, ask them in chat or you can do in audio. Okay.
Hi Ajinkya, Purva here. The session really went so well.
Cool. Yes.
So
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, should I think about working on two projects simultaneously, or for the beginning thing, I should just focus on one project?
Okay. That's a great question. Everybody, please work on just one project, because currently we are going to work on that project to first learn how to use this Evernote and everything. So once you have mastered how to do this, then take multiple projects at the same time. But if you start with multiple projects in the beginning, you will slow down in all the things and it will harm you more than it will help you. So just work on one project.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Awesome. Any other question, guys? Please ask, because this Q&A is where more value is. Any questions? Any feedback? Anything is fine.
Hello.
Yes.
So, like once you said that we are going to take a note up in 5-10 minutes, and then we are going to work on that by dividing things. But
Correct.
I personally, when I go into Google search, 10 different things come into the picture where I
Correct.
didn't had any thought in the first place. So
Correct.
actually, I go into new areas, and then I somewhat got lost after half an hour or so, and then things happen in different manner. So then the last motive is I am completely lost. Where should I stop, or where should I start again, or should I move ahead with different directions?
Okay, now that is an amazing question. So I love it. And this is a common thing, guys. We might start with one idea, and while executing that, we get another idea, another idea, another idea. It's very common, right? And what happens is, imagine you are trying to download one file and you find it, oh, I could download that. Oh, I could download that. But more files you download at the same time, slower is the download of each file, right? So
Yeah.
similarly, more ideas you have, in the end, you are going to be switching between so many ideas. Is your net progress on the original idea is going to be zero. So while you are doing the research, create another text file inside Evernote, okay, which is new ideas, okay. Create while doing this, create another file. I actually do that now. So any new things, I will make a note of it for later, ideas for later. Because what happens is, like, in our impulse, we start working on that idea immediately, and our time is extremely unproductive. If you get an idea related to your relevant project, add that to your divide and conquer note. Okay. But if you get an idea related to something else, add that to the new note, which is like things for later.
Right.
And keep following this thing. Whether you are going on YouTube, whatever, keep following this. Things for later, whatever is relevant, you can add that new idea there. So this is how you should proceed. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Any other questions? Tanay, Sandeep, Divanshi, Abhishek.
I felt that session was really helpful. I think this is the first time I attended your session, and I think looking forward to the podcast of how to be a better trainer. Gonna eat all the episodes now. Thanks.
Awesome. Cool.
I want to ask one more thing. Actually,
Yes, yes.
before the session, like on Thursday, something you had asked us to think about some 5 years, 10 years goal. So, is
Correct.
it related to the same? Like the project I was thinking, so I took time to write it down. So, how to
Yes.
yeah.
So good. So before we, in the message, I had asked you your next 5 year plan. Okay. And it's great that you have done it. So let me just tell you what I intended through that question. Okay. So think of your next 5 year plan. You actually want to achieve in next 5 years. What are the things you want to achieve in next 5 years? And what are the things you want to achieve in next 1 year? Okay. Most of people have big goals for next 5 years, next 10 years. Now think about the goals you had 5 years in the past, 1 year in the past, 10 years in the past. What have you done until now out of those goals? And the answer would be not much. The reason
True.
this system is important is it helps you finish stuff one by one. You see, we all have big goals. Goals is not an issue. But the problem is we all have too many big goals. And the net progress on each of them is zero. So when I asked, what do you want to achieve in next 5 years? Everyone has a huge list. And out of that list, not even one thing is generally completed. So the keystone project, which I had as an assignment, that I want to actually emphasize at the end of 1 month, you will have one project complete. So at the end of 1 year in future, you can have 12 such projects complete. At the end of 5 years, you could have 60 such projects complete. Okay. Compare that with the 5 year plan. Okay. 5 year plan always never works. We have ambitious goals, none of that gets achieved. But compare that with this thing, taking small one by one project steps. The net progress which we will do at the end will be way more. So this was the point I wanted to make through that, and I hope it's relevant. Purva, what do you think?
Yeah, sure. So, to explain it, what my 5 year goal was to, build an ed tech. Okay.
Right.
So the idea was in my mind about building a language ed tech, right? So for that, I have made a 5 week project as a language workshop. So is it
Okay,
fine?
so now Purva, the language edtech is a big goal, correct? If
Yeah.
you don't start from a workshop of language thing, if you don't take that step, the edtech is even far in future, which will be impossible. So the aim was before you can take that big step, divide that into small steps. And each small step is a project. So your first step towards your big 5 year goal is building that language workshop by end of these 5 weeks. This is how we will achieve our big goals by doing small projects and combining them together. So any big goal is possible if we do this in divide and conquer. So this divide and conquer approach hopefully will help you achieve big things. And this is how you go about doing it. So let me just share my screen again and let me just show you the net difference it makes. Okay. So sharing my screen, where is that button? Okay. So this is my growth plan since 2017. Can you see my screen? Let me know in the chat or the audio.
No.
Okay, weird. So let me just try resharing.
Yeah, can see, I think.
Okay, how about now? You should see it now. Okay, so Yash can see. Others, can you start seeing? Okay, Purva, you still can't see. It's weird. I think, okay, you know what? Let me just ping the link. This link which I'm showing is public. Let me just make this link public and share that with all of you guys. Okay, so this link which I've just pinged in the chat, this is a Trello board of my personal development plan. So those who can see my screen, great. Those who can't, check my link. Okay, so since 2017 to now, it has been 4 years. I have made incredible progress in my therapy, on my stress issues, on my public speaking, on my thinking, on my writing skills, on my journaling, on my meditation. All of these huge things were possible because of going bit by bit. Okay. So everyone here, please know that this is an extremely powerful system which will not only help you in your job, but also in your personal life, also help you be a better partner, better husband, better whatever you want to do. This is a system will help you in all of that, not just job. Okay. And we have seen one component of that, the component being project, keystone project, and divide and conquer for that specific project. Okay. Next session onwards, we will take that system even further. Okay, so I'll share the video which has been recorded. It will include all the session and also the Q&A. So everything you will have. If any other questions, this is the last 4 minutes. If any other questions, you can ask it now. No? Should we then end for the day? Let me stop the recording.